Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. Your boys just finished Dokkan Awakening, the SSJ4s, the monkeys. I'm gonna let that smooth transition into Gogeta play out. So nice. We're gonna be running them on their 200% category lead for the most part, which is so good, which is of course GT Heroes and Kamehameha. And we've also got some Fused Fighters and Kamehameha in there as well, and essentially just Fused Fighters with the Gotenks for support. So yeah, we've pretty much got all of their leader skills going at this point. We're going to be running them on rotation with the SSJ4 Goku. Rotation isn't currently as good as it possibly can be, because of course the SSJ4 Goku does get his EZA during the EX portion of the anniversary. So we're just going to have to make do for now. If you have pulled one of the LRs from the anniversary or both, let me know how you're finding them. So far from the gods, they are ridiculous, and if you're still summoning, there's still time to get more stones, there's still time to pull them, and I wish you luck in your summons, but don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's see what these boys can do.
Sorry for the wait, Kakarot. Ready when you are, Vegeta.
Okay, so we've got them on rotation. We've got both of them actually on rotation. This time we're going to do it properly, where mine's going to fuse and we're going to keep these unfused, because just like the gods, once you fuse them into Gogeta, the link set stays the same, becomes a different unit, of course, being SSJ4 Gogeta. They share all 7 links together. Right now, we actually kind of have a meaty-ish rotation. Now, the reason why I brought some of the Fused Fighter characters with us and units with us is because when it comes to the Fused Fighter aspect of their 200% leader skill, of Fused Fighter and Kamehameha, or even just Fused Fighter in general, they don't have the most synergy, because of course, as I just said, when they fuse into Gogeta, they keep the same links, which kind of hurts the synergy when it comes to the Fused Fighter aspect. So the most links you're going to get off with a Fused Fighter character is 5 with the Int Gogeta, SSJ4 Gogeta, who we do have on the team, or the SSJ4 Tech Gogeta, who currently doesn't have his EZA yet, will get it during in Celebration a little bit later on. So, you know, it will improve slightly. Currently, they don't have it. And in Gogeta, he's not bad. You know, for him to be pretty decent, you do need some dupes in him nowadays because he has aged. But for the most part, a lot of the events you're probably not going to be running him on, I'm not going to lie. But, you know, currently he has what? Or he will have, or they will have Legendary Power and Kamehameha active once they get some orbs. But currently, literally with only 2, 356k attacks then 139k defense, not so bad whatsoever, or not too bad whatsoever. We're on 23 key, so unfortunately we don't get the 24, which means we miss out on the attacks effective against all types. And they're up to a 784k attack stat turn 1, literally, and they haven't even started stacking yet. They haven't even started stacking. So, you know, they're 200% category leads themselves, 4.7. 4.7. I said, do bear that in mind. They link quite well with Fused Fighter units, but the synergy's not as good as you would want it to be, because I said the link set does stay the same. We did get the additional though, which means we have stacked twice, which is very nice. I said you just gotta wait for that Tech Gogeta to get his EZA. But the Fused Fighter Kamehameha portion, it's not bad, but for the most part, you know, you're not going to be linking insane with a lot of the Fused Fighters Kamehameha units, apart from like a handful, like Year 3 LRs who are also getting EZAs, Gogetas, which one of them's only truly good right now again, or not really right now, but when he gets his EZA. The Strength Goku Vegeta, and also the Tech one when he's fused into Gogeta, and also the Strength one actually when they're Vegeto. So there's that. Then there's GT Heroes coming with our category. Again, I've mentioned before, when it comes to running a 200% lead, if there's like 1 or 2 units on 170, it's fine. It's okay. They're still going to perform very well. As long as they're on a 170 minimum, you're kind of good to go. So, you know, I wouldn't worry too much when it comes to that. I wouldn't say it's restrictive, but, you know, because it's GT Heroes and Kamehameha, that eliminates all SSJ4 Vegetas being a 200% category lead. It does make it a little bit smaller, but there's still some great units on there. You know, eventually, as I've already mentioned, we will have EZA SSJ4 Goku from the EX portion of the anniversary. There's still the Strength EZA SSJ4 Goku. You've got GTA, definitely not Grand Theft Auto. We're not robbing cars around here. Do you know what I mean? GT Super Saiyan Goku, who's still good as long as you get him orbs. There's also, again, Gogeta units. So yeah, and then there's also, of course, the friend Goku and Vegeta that you could keep unfused for a bit and then have one chance of them to Gogeta, then they link perfectly. There's still some really good units and a fair amount, not too many, And, you know, as I said before, running a unit like Easy 8 SSJ4 Vegeta eventually, when he gets his Easy 8 and EX portion, the LR, he's amazing. So there's going to be that, and him on a 170 is just fine. Same with the Easy 8 AGL SSJ4 Vegeta. But the 200% aspect, there's not too many options, especially if you are missing them. You will be lacking just a little bit. So there is that. Other than that, prior to fusing, the unit is pretty much identical to the gods, which means, of course, they're good. I mean, prior to getting our legendary power and Kamehameha link, and we stacked twice, and we haven't even got an orb yet, we have just under a 600k attack stat and just under 200k defense, which is kind of crazy. We're not getting no 23, 24 key right now, but that's okay. We're up to a 1.18 million attack stat, and this is at 55%. This is free dupe right now. And just like the gods, offensively, they start really well. It's mainly their defense that needs to play a little bit of catch up. But when it comes to longer events, the fact they stack and already do such good damage offensively, we're up to 5.4 mil off of 2 supers. So good. Means GT Goku Vegeta event, they're going to be amazing for, you know, get that deep. By the time you get to like SSB or full power SSJ4 Goku, their defense is going to be an amazing spot. Their attack stat and offensively, they are going to be ridiculously good because of how good they start offensively, and they're going to be stacking the entire time. In a shorter event like Super Battle Road ESBR, of course, you're not going to be able to stack them too much. And then in Red Zone, they're going to face the same issue as the gods as well, which they are amazing in Red Zone, including the latter stages. Of course, you're mainly going to take these two when it does come to Shenron, because they do have type advantage in the GT edition against Shenron. But, you know, because of how hard Red Zone can hit, you know, in the latter stages where it's difficult, you're probably not going to be able to get them stacked too much. Which means defensively, more so than offensively, because offensively, they're going to shine in Red Zone. Defensively, they're not going to be able to tank that well prior to fusing, prior to getting their active off. Which, just like the gods as well, literally from turn 4, which I can't complain about active skill conditions. But yeah, it means their defense isn't going to be in a great spot considering you do lose the guard after one turn, which again, in ESBR is great in SBR because, you know, you can take multiple attacks, slot 1, slot 2. You haven't really started stacking yet. You can't really stack in a shorter event like Super Battle Road. The guard's going to come in handy, you know, and the few stacks you can get off here and there when you're supering in like 5-6 turns, they're going to be fine. But, you know, you can't really take advantage of it in a longer event. It's going to be kind of wasted in GT Goku event and Vegeta event. And also Red Zone, it can actually come in handy, but when you really want it and need it, you know, the latter stages and the latter phases, you know, against Shenron and Broly, etc. Of course, you're not going to have the guard. Like I said, they do have the same problem, which is you're probably not going to be able to get them stacked up enough. There's always going to be a situation 9 times out of 10 where, you know, there's attacks coming from whether it's slot 1, slot 2, loads of attacks, depending on what the HP of the boss is looking, your HP, how many items you have left, where they may be taking too many attacks and their defense isn't to the point where it needs to be for them to tank just fine, where you don't need an item, considering you only have 1 in Red Zone, to not have to worry about them, which by all means is fine. You know, it's not that they're bad, it doesn't make them bad because of it. They're still really good, and, you know, as I've already said, the damage output is fantastic, which kind of makes up for the lack of defense and the fact you can't stack them up that much in Red Zone. But it does kind of hurt them a bit, which means in some scenarios you are going to have to fuse them early, which means you can't get them going to where you want them to. And I think that's fair to assess. I think that is fair to assess, and that's become more apparent, especially on JP with the release of Trunks and Vegeta, but they're still amazing. No one's saying they're bad. So of course, we've already mentioned the guard, and again, everything else is the same as the gods. They get key +1 per type keys for obtained, and attack and defense plus 77% for 7 turns from the start of the turn. Attack and defense plus 120, then the additional key +1 per type keys for obtained. You're hardly ever going to struggle with key with these lot, unless you purposely mess up their rotation where they have no key, and potentially the orb placement is terrible, which, you know, that's a lot against you. You know, that's the only scenario you're going to struggle with key, and even then they could probably make up for it with how much key they're going to be giving themselves. So that's never going to be a worry. And then, of course, you get the chance to perform the critical hit plus 7% per rainbow keys for obtained, and also they launch an additional super attack when key is 20 or more, and attacks have become effective against all types when key is 24, which it's going to be very easy probably getting the additional off, which is obviously very nice, so you can stack them up as much as possible in as little time as possible. And then every now and then you'll probably get the attacks effective against all types, which of course is very nice. But of course that's where it ends being pretty much identical to the gods, and then we're going to fuse them once they come back around after they've got the support from Gotenks. As I've already mentioned, turn 4 for their active skill to come off, same with the gods, is great. And then Link skills: Super Saiyan Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, GT, Saiyan Raw, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. Considering the units these two link to, it's very nice. It's very nice. You know, as I said, if you keep one of them, if you're taking dual leads, if you have one of them transformed or fused into Gogeta and then one of them untransformed, that's 7 links. You've got SSJ4 Goku, of course, as I've already mentioned, in the EX portion of the anniversary. We'll get an EZA, and honestly, the Year 4 EZAs are ridiculously good. So when that comes out, another great unit they link to, EZA SSJ4 Goku, the strength one. Link, he's still pretty good, and they link really well with him. What are we up to, by the way? 872k attack stat, 285k defense with the support, 24k, which means attack effective against all types. We're up to 1.92 million attacks that with the support and 285k defense. We're also going to get the additional off as well, which means we're gonna stack even more, which is great. And then you got, you know, more realistic rotation. I say realistic rotations. You got more like, you know, the 5 Lincoln partners, SSJ4 Vegeta, which won't be under 200% lead with these currently on global until the Trunks of Vegeta come out with the Bond of Parent and Child, I think it's called. But again, with his EZA coming out on a 170, he'll perform fine. You've also got Int Gogeta, Tech Gogeta when he gets his EZA. EZA AJ Vegeta as well. So, I mean, the link set, it's a really nice link set, especially when I mean, obviously when it comes to SSJ4s, they link so well with them. I said the only time it kind of hurts them with, I wouldn't say bad synergy, but, you know, more effective synergy is, of course, when it comes to the Fuse Fighters Kamehameha portion of 200%, where, you know, they only share 4 links, which isn't bad, don't get me wrong, but it's not as good as compared to when they were with an SSJ4 unit, which on a Fuse Fighter team, you're mainly looking at, you know, a fused SSJ4 Goku and Vegeta into Gogeta, or like Tech Gogeta when he has his EZA. But still, you can kind of combine the two teams and have like some Fuse Fighter 200% category lead units with Kamehameha and GT heroes, so you can kind of do that if you want to. But that is also a slight calm. And then, you know, I didn't really mention the categories with the gods, but I mean, they do go on some amazing categories, and so do the SSJ4s. I mean, you've got fusions, Shadow Dragon Saga, Pure Saiyans, Join Forces, Kamehameha, Final Trump Card, Giant 8 Power. You've also got GT heroes, Time Limit, Accelerate Battle, Battle of Fate, Power Beyond Super Saiyan. Fuse Fighters and Bond of Parent and Child eventually will be on global. And the good thing about a lot of these categories, there are SSJ4s to go with them, which is obviously fantastic to get the majority of those links off. But we are now going to fuse you. We're going to look at these wonderful animations, and I'm going to shut up and enjoy with you.
Let's fuse, Kakarot. You're the last person I expected to suggest fusing. This is going to be special. I can feel it. Fusion! I'm neither Goku nor Vegeta. I am the one who will destroy you!
Honestly, I'm never going to get tired of them. So now, of course, we're going to stop stacking. On the 12 key, we greatly raised attack and defense by 50%. And on 18 key, we're massively raising attack and defense by 100%, which is massive. So if you do get an additional off, you will potentially raise your attack and defense by 100%, and then the 50% on the 12, which is 150% in total, which, depending on where you've got them stacked up to, means, I mean, even if you haven't stacked them up too much, defensively, they're sitting pretty good, which is why some of the time you're going to have to bite the bullet. You're going to have to bite the bullet and fuse them a little bit early, even if they're not stacked up too much. But that's okay because of what they're doing on the 12 and 18 key. So, we're going to have every link active right now, where we sitting right now before we can get a piece of orb. We're on an 876k attack stat, 287k defense. We're on a 24 key. We're on a 24 key. We're up to 1.92 mil, 287k defense. Gogeta, go to work, my guy. And don't forget on the 18 key as well, they will disable enemies' actions once within the turn, which is very nice. 7.1 mil. 7.1 mil. This is at 55%. And there's an additional, which means for the turn, 150% attack and defense for the turn. Which means this guy, if we were in a red zone stage or you know, ESBR or something, or you know, we're doing a GT Goku Vegeta event run, they'd be sitting pretty good defensively even if we hadn't stacked them up too much. But now on their passive, they get attack and defense plus 177. They get an additional key plus 2 per type key sphere obtained, which, as I said before, you're never going to be struggling with key with these two LRs from the year 7 anniversary. They also have a chance to perform a critical hit and reduces damage received plus 7% per rainbow key sphere obtained. That's where the things start to differ between the anniversary LRs, is instead of evade, Gogeta has damage reduction, which is a little bit more valuable considering, you know, in a lot of events in Dokkan nowadays, you're not able to dodge, including a lot of the last stages of Red Zone as well. And also GT Goku event, Vegeta event, SBR and ESBR is pretty much the only difficult content where you can evade. But you can use damage reduction everywhere. As long as you're getting the rainbow key spheres, you'll have damage reduction on top of wherever your defense is sitting for the turn, or sorry, not turn, where you stacked it up to. And then, you know, also getting that 18 key off, massively raising your attack and defense. If you then get enough key, then also getting a 12 key off and greatly raising your attack and defense as well, which means all that defense, no matter where you stacked up to, combined with the damage reduction if you're getting the rainbow key spheres, and with the super attack or the 18 key and potentially an additional, defensively, you're going to be looking pretty good, even if you haven't stacked up too much. And again, this is why sometimes in Red Zone, we're going to ignore that. You're going to have to bite the bullet and either transform the gods or fuse the SSJ4s, and why it's actually okay to do so. So you can do that massive, ridiculous amount of damage, again, including where you stacked up to, but also make sure you survive and you'll still be okay defensively going forward, even if you haven't stacked them up too much. So they are quite I say quite. The anniversary LRs are very diverse units and they could probably work everywhere easily. Not only that, attacks effective against all types, guaranteed, just like Gogeta units. They also have a medium chance of performing a critical hit. They also have a high chance of launching an additional super attack and a high chance of evading enemy super attack and countering with tremendous power, which is obviously very, very nice. Of course, we do have to get their active skill off, which is just the same as the gods as well, which is the enemy either has to be on 50% HP or less, or we have to be on 50% HP or less, which I don't know how easy that's going to happen in terms of getting that off. 6.8, even that's ridiculous again at 55%. I mean, good for you. For all the people that managed to pull dupes in the anniversary units, good for you, man. Good for you. And there's one of the nullifiers coming in. Not nullify, but one of the what is it called? Disables enemies' actions. I know a lot of people got confused with that. It doesn't mean you basically get a ghost usher for a turn. You will nullify one of their actions, which, you know, it may not seem like much, but, you know, that potentially could be the attack that's going to super attack you that turn. And that disable could actually save your run. I mean, one less attack on some events, that's one less super attack. So it is very nice to come off. If we don't manage to get the active skill off soon, because I am going to wait to get Gotenks back on rotation, which will happen next turn, to of course show the support, I will cut until we have enough health, or not enough health basically, below that 50%, or they below 50%, or the enemy are below 50% HP, so we can show off the active. Okay, so we got the support. We're on a 1.1 million attack stat before we even touched an orb. We're also on a 328k attack stat. We're getting 24 key as well, which is great. We still need to counter, and we still need to get the active off. So hopefully we can do that, because at this rate, we're about to beat the event, which I wasn't looking to do. So with support, we're doing 8.2 mil. Which, of course, if we stacked a bit more, we could easily have got over 10 mil in attack stat. But, you know, we don't want the video to be too long. Big 5.6 million crit. And an additional... Gogeta's going ham, which is a little bit annoying because I need to get the active off. And he's just putting in work. I mean, I had to hop into the GT Goku event to make sure it happened, but we have got the active ready, which is good. And I completely forgot to mention in the blue showcase, but once we do their their active, Gogeta is going to cause ultimate damage to the enemy, and within the turn activated, all attacks become crit, which means the damage output, I mean, the damage output is already ridiculous, becomes even more insane. Time to enjoy these wonderful, wonderful animations.
It's time to unleash my most devastating attack. I'll finish you off with this. Ultra Big Bang.
And there's the crit, 4.7 mil. I love those animations, man. The way you see Goku and Vegeta fuse into each other, so dope. I know they do that on fighters as well, so dope. I said I'm not going to push for the counter because that's RNG based. And if you really want to see it, just YouTube it or look onto it. It's just, if it happens, it happens, and it hasn't happened this time round. But these are ridiculously good. Both gods, both SSJ4s, they are ridiculous. I would potentially say, actually no, I can't split them. The damage reduction on the SSJ4s is more handy than the dodge on the gods. However, the gods rotation, I would say, because of how valuable it is in red zone, especially movie bosses, a little bit more valuable. I don't know, you can't split them. They're both amazing. But let me know what you think of them down in the comments. I'll see you next video, guys, and push.